Greetings to you all, this is Aridif, that is A-R-I-D-I-F, and this is it spelled. Today we wish to speak of one concept very quickly. First of all, when you are looking at the Oversoul, the structure itself, very complicated. Many entities have misnomers about the certain aspects or attributes of the Oversoul, so we wish to express to you very quickly what this means. When you are looking at the Oversoul, you are looking at every life that you have been, every life that you will be, every life that you are in this moment. The Oversoul is a larger portion of consciousness, you in your everyday self. That is what we call the lower fractal consciousness. When you look above that, then you are looking at a higher percentage of what you are. You as an individual entity are called an entity or a being. In that essence, you have both the lower fractal consciousness and the higher fractal consciousness. Most of you call your lower fractal consciousness the ego, but we implore that it is much more than this. It is a much higher version of consciousness than just the ego portion. That is approximately 15 to 20% of all of you. Now, when you are looking at the higher fractal consciousness, most of you call this the higher self. That is approximately anywhere between 75 and 85% of the overall essence of yourself. When you mix the lower fractal consciousness and the higher fractal consciousness together, you create the version, the entity, the being that is you. Most of you only have access to the lower fractal consciousness when you are in your awakened state, as you are going about traipsing through the day in your own environment, not connecting to any visions, not connecting to telepathy, not connecting to that empathetic energy of entities around you. That is your lower fractal consciousness. Now, in that consciousness, each of you experience from such a different perception. That perception is something that is very important. Within the whole scope of your reality, your belief system set the outer bounds within that concept. Within the belief systems you find, nothing outside of your beliefs can manifest externally. Now we understand, some of you ask the question, there are things that occur that I don't believe all the time, but there is an investment of belief. The percentage that you invest within that belief, that is how you are able to go through something that normally you believe, you think that cannot happen. So in that essence, if you say, there can never be a spaceship that lands inside of my yard, I believe in that very fully. You must look deeply into that question, be honest with yourself. How much of yourself is invested into that belief? Most of you who do not believe that can occur are usually within the 80 to 90% belief. But there is always the 10 to 15% that is invested outside of that belief, making that 10 to 15% of a possibility to occur. That is your framework for your reality. Now, working within your thought process, that is what feeds energy into your reality. When you are consistently thinking that something negative will occur to you, when you are consistently thinking that you are not good enough, those energies are what help play out the creation of your own reality. When you act upon your thoughts and beliefs, that is what cements the energy. We have given the concept previously that it is much as a computer, that the outline frame of your program is your belief systems, the thought process, the code that you are writing with. When you are acting upon the thoughts and beliefs, that is hitting the enter key on your keyboard that allows all of the information you have put into your program to go and to start working. Now when you look at this, your lower fractal consciousness holds one thing that neither your higher self or the Oversoul holds: free will. Free will is something that many entities are not sure what it is. They believe that their reality is set in cement, that their connections to themselves before being born, before incarnating into the earth, has already been laid out. that various things can change, but the overall theme will always remain. What we wish to express to you is this is not entirely true. Many of you break off of your path all the time. You work with drugs or alcohol, numbing your senses. That knocks you off of your energy. It knocks you off the path that you desired. Some of you make very rash decisions in the moment. That can also tilt you off the path. What we wish to express is from a higher perspective. There is no pathway that you must take. Any expression of consciousness into physical reality is worthwhile. Any expression of experience into the physical reality is accepted, loved, and appreciated by the Oversoul. Now, let us speak more so about the higher self, higher fractalized consciousness. This is the part of you that you connect to when you are sleeping. In your sleep state, you connect. In your meditative state, you connect. This is the area in where all other entities that either exist within the galactic collective consciousness or your Oversoul are connected to. This is where your guides connect to. This is the part of you that is very connected to source energy. Some of you believe it is fully connected to source energy. We would express it as not fully connected, but it has the means to connect to any portion of creator consciousness it desires. Now, what does that mean? What it means is it is a large energy indeed. It is a large focus of consciousness, but it is not as large as an Oversoul, and an Oversoul is only 144,000th of the entire Earth Collective. So when you are looking at that concept, yes, it is large, yes, it expresses consciousness in a much higher manner than your mindset of the lower fractal consciousness does, but it cannot be focused into creator source energy all of the time, in every moment. It must choose what it desires to create, must choose what it desires to connect to. Your guides work intimately with you in your higher fractal consciousness. Now, there are many differences between the word guides and the word spirit guides. In our perception and vocabulary, spirit guide is usually three entities that have incarnated with you through many physical lifetimes. Those consciousnesses connect to you so deeply and dearly that in this life they chose not to incarnate, just so they could work in the purpose of going through your chakra systems and working with you through your emotional status, through your emotional states. Now, guides, with a generic term, can be any entities that are connecting in the Oversoul, any being that is connected in your soul groups. Let us not get ahead of ourselves as we define soul groups and soul mates. Let us work first with the Oversoul in whole. The Oversoul is the combination and culmination of all energies that have occurred in physical reality through the expression it desires. 144,000 Oversouls reside within the Earth Collective Consciousness. That is why there are expressions in each. Each one of those Oversouls has an overall theme in which it plays out throughout the Earth Collective. This is why many of you who feel a great power or need to take over, such as generals in armies, dictators in your governments, they are usually in Oversouls that are very power structured, that are hungry for that power over others. Now, when you are looking at all of the Oversouls as they combine, that is the Earth Collective Consciousness. Your Oversouls carry an energy, a counterpart. Those energies are called twin souls. We will not get deeply into the twin soul aspect, but we will express to you that the twin soul is birthed through a mitosis state consciousness at the very beginning of your Earth incarnation, the very structuring of the physical presence of Earth. Those entities were created. This was able to experience large spectrums of consciousness and be a counterpart to the Oversoul in a way that allows the individual fractals of consciousness within it to experience anything it desires from such a large spectrum that you would be able to see every experience that ever has happened or will happen upon the Earth. Think of your Earth in this moment, the most caring beings, the most loving entities. and think of those who are the most malevolent in your eyes, the ones who desire nothing more than their own powers and riches. Think of that divide in this time on this planet alone. You will see a great spectrum. There is one on the far left, one on the far right, and many in between. We will convene at a later point in order to express to you the concepts of the twin soul, and we thank you.